As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to NOA University Dialogue, the platform where we weekly sensitize, enlighten, and reorientate the populace and the citizens on government policies, programs, and activity. While we do that, we consciously get the feedback from government so that government can properly and adequately fine-tune the policies and programs to suit the citizens and the populace. Now, everything in life, every aspect of life has a rule and a law that governs it, particularly when it comes to competition. As you know, even in sports, there are rules of the game. And other areas, there are rules of the game. And the coming 2023 election is no exception. And so, laws have been made for this election. And you will agree that these laws are not made for the first time. From the inception, 1999, when the government went back to civil rule, there has been laws. But one thing is constant: there is always a change in this law, and the reasons are very simple and obvious. It's so to suit the people more, flaws that have been observed. These laws are made to take care of those flaws so that we can have a better election. And you agree with me that the elections from 1999 are getting better, even though we're not where we need to be. And that's because of the laws, the amendment to those laws from observations that were made from previous elections. Now, precisely on February 2022, and that day, if I remember, is a Friday, President Muhammad Buhari signed into law the latest electoral law, the Electoral Act 2022 into law. And it was made to take care of the forthcoming election in 2023. And so, viewers, today we will be dissecting the topic, the Electoral Act 2022. What citizens should know. I take that again. The Electoral Act 2022. What citizens should know. That's the topic for today. And I have, some very, very eminently qualified personalities in the studio here to dissect the topic with me. And in no particular order, I'm just going to introduce the, discussant today. On my immediate left, I have Barrister Don UMEALOR. He is the head of Department Legal, INEC River State. Sir, you're welcome to the River State Dialogue.
Thank you very much.
And just immediately after him, I have Barrister AROCHKWU OGBONNA. He is the National Coordinator of Civil Rights Council. Sir, you're welcome to the River State Dialogue.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I have an old friend. He's been here once again. He's not new here. He's not that person than Barrister NATHANIEL AKPORS. Barrister NATHANIEL AKPORS might interest you to know that he's the coordinator of Transition Monitoring Group, River State. Sir, you're welcome once again to the River State Dialogue.
Thank you.
And the viewers, you are the king here. You know you are the king. Yes, you are the king because you're very important. The reason why we're here is because you're there. The reason why we're here is to enlighten you, to sensitize you, and to reorientate you, and to make you participate and know what the Electoral Act 2022 is all about. So we're doing this all because of you, and so it will only, be nice that you send in your comments, your views, and how you feel about this whole thing. Keep them coming, and then just to remain to them. And yes, you know that we have also opened another platform for you, but in due time, the phone lines will be open for you to use that platform also to reach out. Not everybody, is very comfortable with typing. Some want to, speak. They want to hear your voice. So please, when the phone lines are open, also make use of that, medium, so that we can have a conversation. I want to start on this note, but before I start, my name is Senmo. I am your AKPORS person for today. The INEC person here. Because everybody here is a lawyer today, I said, what is the Electoral Act 2022 all about? What is it all about? Let's go from there. Let's ascend from there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You will agree with me that the Electoral Act 2022, which was signed into law by the Mr. President on 25th of February 2022, brought in a whole lot of innovations. But there's a lot of departure from what used to be. A lot of improvements, all geared towards ensuring that the electoral process becomes more transparent, becomes more all-inclusive, and then, of course, at the end of the day, to meet the yearnings and aspirations of the majority of Nigerians. So the Electoral Act 2022 essentially was, a lot of industry was put in there by both INEC and the National Assembly. A lot of amendments, particularly those that have touched so much on the operations of INEC. I'll give you an example. Section 3, subsection 3, that provides for INEC funds needed by INEC for any general election should be provided for 1 year before an election. That is, for me, the icing in the cake, one of the most important of all the provisions, because now it enables INEC to plan, to have the funds prepared for the election. You are aware that some time ago, I think in 2011 or thereabouts, when the election, general election was suddenly postponed, because even on election day, materials could not get to even the CBN to talk about the polling units. So this has afforded INEC ample time to get the funds to run the election. And I'm sure that this time around, there will be a whole lot of difference.
So let's all take a bite, into these questions. Just make a recap. He said there's a clear departure, from the previous one and this latest electoral act 2022. Just give a little overview of what is it is all about. Let's take a bite. You're all lawyers, so I want you to come from your own perspective, different perspective, so that we can set the pace.
Well, the Electoral Act 2023 is a unique legislation. I call it a unique legislation because it's a legislation that seeks to cure the limitations or the challenges that has been inherent in our electoral system since 1999. The Electoral Act 2023 is a product of the accumulation of experiences, the challenges and difficulties that have been made, that have been identified in the electoral process, which seeks to answer those questions and to make the electoral process more transparent, more open, and to reduce the bickering, the rancor, the quarrels, and even the violence that is associated with the election. Now, we may not say we have gotten to where we are, but as of today, it is noteworthy that if you go through the provisions of the Electoral Act, certain if you go through the provisions, certain openings have been made, that seeks to answer very nagging questions of the past. For instance, if you go to between section 114 and 129, that articulated electoral offences. Now, it was able now to holistically deal with the anomalies, criminal tendencies and dispositions that often mar our electoral process, and which make us to begin to quarrel with INEC. And which some of them are not even the creations of INEC, but the product of the character and the behavior of Nigerians, our attitude and our system. This time around, effort has been made to articulate those things and to ensure that both the citizens and particularly the police, if we're serious, can even meet some of those problems, or altogether seek to punish those who make it use to mar our electoral process.
Yeah, come from your own perspective. Just we're trying to form the base now for the conversation to flow.
Okay. Yes. For we in TNG, we've looked at the Electoral Act, and to a great extent, this act has really come to close a lot of gaps. A lot of gaps we've experienced all this while in our general elections. The innovations were very specific in this very act. So we've been viewing this act side by side, the citizenry, how it has been. Before now, the focus has been more on how we get this election done. But now, the parties to these elections have even been, when I mean parties, not political parties, the people who participate, from the political parties to the ordinary voters, they were properly considered, carrying out the review and of this very act, which is now law from 25th of February 2022. So for us in TNG, it's a welcome development. We appreciate the innovations very well, and though we've been identifying some small shortcomings which we are thinking maybe, but so far so good. It's a welcome development.
Yes, so far so good. It is a welcome development, and then we know, because looking at it, we will agree that there is some kind of departure from the previous one. Now, so let me start with you, sir. Let me start with you. What are the significant departure of the electoral Act 2022 from the previous one? The significant departure, because the law is basically modifying things to meet the present realities, international best practice, so to speak, and all of that things. But what is the significant departure that everybody is saying that now this law, no, right now we have gotten it right, at least to the extent that it can accommodate this election? What is that significant departure, sir?
Well, you find media attention and got the politicians hysterical and running around about the amendments in section 84 that talked about the mode of people climbing political platforms. Either is it direct primaries, indirect primaries, or consensus. Okay. Now, consensus, let me start from there, because that is although the language of consensus is an integral democratic language. It's an integral language in democracy. Okay. But that language seems to have acquired a special place in our political environment in recent times because of the change in the Electoral Act. The consensus requires that, look, that one of the modes through which a political party can select their flag bearer in any election, will be by consensus, which involves now contestants subscribing to a particular candidate contested out of all the people who have expressed interest. So if we have 10 people that want to be governor, for instance, and 9 of us signs into saying that, look, one person should go in, it's a major character of saying we have built a consensus. Now, if you, that is on it, then you now talk about direct and indirect primaries. direct way you have the parties voting, the party membership voting at various levels at the world, and of course, indirect way you have delegates, voting an election. So the provisions at these three levels is very, very unique, and it has brought a lot of it has given a lot of options for the politicians, and it gives room for arbitration, and it gives room to stay away from conflict and confrontations. But you see, to the extent to which the consensus method is democratic may be questioned by activists, pundits, and by critics, may be questioned. But what is unique is that multiple opportunities have been given to the political parties to explore, and so to avoid the pigeonholing them to a single method, to cut costs. It will cut costs too, and it will give opportunity for a political party to navigate within the circumference of available manpower, resources, capacity, because various political parties have various structures and capacities. To me, that is a very unique aspect of the law.
We'll come back to that, but before we come back to that, let's join our correspondent who's on standby from Okoponkoro local government area, where Patricia Apiafe is standing by. Please take it up. We're listening. We're all yours.
Thank you, the presenter, Mr. Abieseniwo. I am Patricia Apiafe, Kobo Okoponkoro LGA, reporting from the field. Our dialogue topic today is Electoral Act 2022. What citizens should know. And with me to discuss this issue is Mr. Taribo Ayo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Sir, from the Electoral Act 2022, what do you think the citizens of Nigeria should know in respect of the forthcoming election 2020?
The citizens should know that there is an act already signed into law April 2022 by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this time, our votes will count. You have a system where at the end of the elections, the results will be transmitted electronically. And after transmission, it must tally with the results on ground. So your votes will count. And thank God now, we have an extension of days for your PVC, registration of PVC. If you've not registered, please go out and register, because your vote will count. Have confidence in the system. INEC will do better this time. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, the presenter, Abieseniwo.
Yeah, that was a very precise and straight to the point report there from Patricia. Thank you very much. Yeah, so before we join our correspondents, you were talking about the options that the Act made for politicians to navigate through getting their, their candidates. Let me just open this question a little bit so that we can all have a bite to it. Now, what is that departure? He just mentioned electronic, transmission of results, which is one thing that it was also controversial when in the process of making that law. That was controversial. In fact, as a matter of fact, it was rejected, and along the line, it was also accepted, and the law was. So, for you, what is the significant departure?
Thank you so much. Yeah. There are a lot of these, but most importantly for us in TMG, we appreciate Section 51(1).
Okay.
Section 51(2), which talks about overvoting, redefined.
Yeah.
Now, only if you allow me to read that provision, only that. Let me just quickly, for it to be very clear. It says, I'm trying to refer to 51(2).
Yes.
Where the number of votes cast at an election in any polling unit exceeds the number of accredited voters in that polling unit, the presiding officer shall cancel the results of the election in that polling unit.
On the instance.
Yes. Now, the departure is this. the registered voters. Today, the law is talking about accredited voters. So it is the number of persons who come for election. If we have 100 registered voters in the polling unit and only 50 comes, the law says they will look into the 100 people registered in that polling unit. But now the new law is saying that the number of people who are accredited. So if it exceeds, if the vote that is finally counted exceeds that number that was accredited, the law says the presiding officer has powers to cancel that election. So that's a very significant improvement in this law. Very, very which we cannot play with.
Thank you, sir. As an umpire, for you, yeah. I know you. In fact, these laws are more like not made for INEC per se, was made for the entire electoral process, but INEC is a key player. You are the umpires. So for you, what is the beauty and what significantly is a departure that, you know, from your experience working for INEC?
There are quite a lot of
just take one. Let's say for this.
Well, let me hinge on the issue of the transmission, the electronic transmission of results. Number one. Then, of course, two. You remember now that before now, there was still that controversy whether the card reader, use of card reader is legal or not legal. Today, the Electoral Act has given legal teeth to it, and specifically mentioned that the use of the card reader is lawful and legal.
And the law went to any other electronic devices.
Of course, I'm coming to that. So it now gives the Commission that power, that latitude to be able to deploy any other type of technology, including electronic voting machines, which is ongoing. If you heard the spokesperson of the Commission mentioned it a number of times, they are looking at it. I don't know whether it's going to be deployed now, but for sure, in the long run, it will be done. So, you see, all these are geared towards ensuring that your vote counts, like the guest there mentioned, also ensuring that there is transparency in what you do. Because if you have the card reader, the BARR, which has in fact revolutionized the way accreditation is done. It's not just your fingerprints, your facial impression is also taken. So you see, all these things are all geared towards ensuring that there will be less rancor, there will be less controversy. And I believe in 2003, there will be so much for Nigerians to be happy about.
Thank you, sir. This question is specifically for the INEC. I want to ask, did the Electoral Act 2022, has it empowered the INEC better in terms of performing their role as election umpire? If yes, tell us, the specific areas where, the INEC has been better empowered, as compared to the previous one.
I just mentioned Section 3. Subsection 3 is giving INEC the opportunity to have the funds 1 year ahead. It helps in planning. It helps in ensuring that everything that INEC needs to do will be done in good time and with available funds. Then it also empowered INEC, especially because if you remember what happened in Imo State, the last election, where the returning officer claimed that he was put under duress to declare a result. Now that has been taken care of by the Electoral Act. Now INEC is empowered to review where there are serious cases, confirmed cases of intimidation or where the returning officer is forced to declare results to review whatever result has been declared.
So let me take you on that. Don't you think that that clause, I think it's clause 65.
65.
Wait, let me come. Don't you think that clause has created some form of flexibility for INEC officials that does not have integrity that wants to be funny? Because yes, much as it has given INEC can say that look, I was under duress and we know that an election now, even from the delegate election, is dollars that is flying, good amount of money. By the time an INEC official who does not have integrity knows that lacuna is there, and that they can back him up to maybe prove it and all of that, don't you think that they will be funny that act?
Thank you very much. If you look at that clause fully,
yes,
holistically, you will see that from the returning officer to INEC headquarters and lastly to the tribunal or court, these are the processes that action can be monitored. Now, if the returning officer says, I was under duress, I did not like this, INEC has, the law has said INEC cannot review. Then at the tribunal, the tribunal may review the returning officer, but likely the tribunal will review INEC's position on that very election. So it's now a tripartite. So the returning officer is not at how will I call it? All liberty.
I'm coming. We're coming back, and we're going to trash this one out. But before then, let's open the phone lines now for our viewers. Let's give them another platform so that they can also participate, seemingly in this conversation, this all-important conversation. Now the phone lines, please, we're opening the phone lines for viewers. Those of you that are not very comfortable typing, you can make use of this line. Now the numbers are, let me call them as +234 9166 587 355. I take that once again. The numbers are +234 9166 587 355. I'm taking it for the last time. +234 9166 5873 355. Please, when you call, please, first reduce the volume on the device where you're viewing. Number 1. 2, go straight to your name and location. 3, please, we are discussing for sensitization. We are discussing for reorientation. That's what we are discussing for. So keep your conversation civil. Unsubstantiated claims will not be entertained, please. So, keep it very civil. So thank you, but we're expecting your call. So now, back to what I'm saying, sir. Let me ask this question. Now, it will be, we know tribunals are there. And then an election went normally per se. Results were declared. And then the loser comes to induce the person with some heavy dollars to say that you have the power to say that I was under duress. You can say we will bring something to back it up and then we'll prove it. An INEC officer without integrity that is not fair, will he not capitalize to be funny? That is the question.
Well, the truth of the matter is that we as Nigerians understand how our system works. And the chances are that somebody may try to corrupt. But to answer your question fully, if you read the new Electoral Act, one of the duties of it, as I mentioned initially, was that a whole lot of conduct has been criminalized, both for INEC officials, both for the citizens of the country, and everybody. And punishment prescribed, which was not that holistic in any of the electoral laws in the past. Sorry, let me say this one.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and location where you're calling from, sir.
My name is Eli Zappa. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, sir, Eli Zappa. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Please, your contribution, sir.
Okay, sir. I want to thank the guests in the studio. I think they are doing a good work. But I'm sure that this topic is very large that they cannot even conclude talking on it today. I would like the guests in the studio to learn a little to what the citizen, not especially what the citizen should know, like the qualification for them to register, how if possible they can transfer their registration to any point they are now, the offensive, and it relates to buying and selling of voter cards and containing the electoral act, and also the other election offenses like buying and selling of votes during the election, and to also let the citizens know the power of their voter card. And if we discuss this today, we will also have time to discuss other issues. The electoral act, and I'm sure the producers of this program will not take it up today. I am enjoying the discussion in the studio, and expect that our guests in the studio will come again this week if the management approves to discuss more on this electoral act. I think I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, sir. But sir, let me just inform you that there is a question dedicated to what citizens should know about the Electoral Act 2022. Under that question, they will also make justice to all you have said. But thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. So like you were talking, there is actually a question dedicated to that. What you say, what the citizen should know, where these things will bear have. We hope that time will permit us. We will try to navigate. So like what you were saying, you said punishment are meted and all of that. Yes, these punishments are always there in laws. They are always there. In fact, in most laws, the offences and the punishment go hand in hand. It has always been that. But the Nigeria that we operate today. Okay, let's take this one. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. We can hear you loud and clear. Go on, sir. Hello, I can hear you loud and clear. Please, there is a background noise here. Move away from where you are so that we can have a seamless conversation, sir.
Am I on to NOA University Dialogue?
Yes, you are on to NOA University Dialogue, sir. We can hear you. Your name and where you're calling from, sir.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir. Okay, I think we lost that call there. So that's what we're saying. Is it not possible?
Look at it this way. Electoral Act is one of the many acts of the National Assembly that is to regulate human behavior as it pertains to elections throughout the country.
Sorry, sir. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and location, sir. Your name and location, sir.
Okay, I'm calling from Rumokoku community.
Okay, sir. What's your name, sir? Your name, sir. Your name.
My name is Chinwe Opara. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, Chiwabara, you're on. You can hear you loud and clear. Your contributions. Your contributions, Chiwe.
Okay. I should say my contribution.
Yes, we are listening to you.
Okay, what I have to say is I want to thank the NOA for doing a good job.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
The topic we are discussing today is very and I think the people should participate in this sensitive issue. I'm talking about the electoral act. I think the new electoral act will go a long way in imparting positively in 2023 election. The only problem I think we have is the issue of security. With the introduction of electronic voting, I think the level of rigging will reduce to some extent. I think the issue of security should be looked into. Security should be looked into.
Okay, sir.
That is one major area that is really scaring voters and they really scaring people from coming out to cast their vote. So security should be looked into.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think this electoral act, if you're listening with us from beginning, you know that the people here have said that it is holistic and virtually every area is captured. But thank you for your contribution, sir. It's noted. Okay.
Now, talking about the electoral offense, let me just give you one instance that would underscore the seriousness with which this has been taken. For instance, section 16, which talks about, which prohibits somebody from holding two valid voters' cards. In the electoral act 2010, the fine was just 100,000. In the present electoral act 2022, it is 500,000 naira. Okay. So that will show you that the laws have become stiffer. Yeah. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem that as if some of the people who are angling now to register are aware that this law is quite stiff. If you go and register more than once, and by any chance, even though it's not possible, it's very, very remote, and you get two valid voters' cards, if you are caught with it, you are going to jail. You are going to pay 500,000 naira. That's a lot of money. So people should really take note of that.
Now, sir, let me, looking at the section 84 of the Electoral Act, would you say that the Act has made, party primaries, better managed, more organized, and the word here, party primaries, better organized and managed? If yes, how? If no, let's get some explanation there.
Yeah, it has helped. It has given them time to go through their process. Unlike before, it has extended their time for campaign, where they can start, when they can end. Before it used to be 90 days. Now it is 150 days. 150, yeah. Yes. So now, what my interest is in section 84 is that particular sub 12 that talks about political appointees.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I have in mind too.
Yes.
Has it made it better organized and managed?
You could see all what happened. Immediately they went to court to try to expunge that provision. But for us as ordinary citizens, it's a welcome development. Exactly. I was just wondering why the section 41(3) of, if I'm calling it well, of the Constitution did not even include section 42 to allow that those you cannot complain when there is a law. Like when there is a law saying you cannot do A, B, C. Because according to the Constitution, there are some provisions in the fundamental rights you cannot, as when there is a specific law, like what Section 84 is doing to appointees. Now, coming down to how it is working, you could see what happened in the last primaries. It was just like, the people who are in office, they are not struggling. They are not, you have to come down from your exalted position. Today, those who never thought they will be appointed into cabinets have been appointed now because if that provision was not there, they would have used their good office in court to either work against the process or do it to their benefit solely because you know how we as Nigerians can use power. So that's what that provision has done. So they quickly went to court. The court has said, though we could have looked at it, but the way it came, we'll leave it so. So for now, that provision stands. Section 84.12 of the Electoral Act stands.
I do know the specific clause now or provision now, but I know that the Electoral Act do make provision for electoral offences tribunal, if I'm correct. There is?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Electoral offences.
No, electoral offences. The offences, no tribunal.
No.
Okay, I thought it was.
Every offense can be taken straight to the magistrate court or the high court.
But some persons have argued over time that they should make it in a special tribunal for electoral offences to speedy the hearing and all of that. But okay, let's learn that now. Now, Section 54, of the Electoral Act 2022 make provision for people living with disability and special needs.
Yeah,
now, the question is, how are the implementing bodies prepared and ready to implement that clause to the letter?
Maybe I'll just throw a quick one. Maybe because of Section 3.3 that has given INEC the opportunity to get their funds on time. Maybe by now, in this coming 2023 election, we are going to observe INEC implementing that provision.
No, but I want the INEC to say something.
Those materials, those instruments and ordinances that will be used to ensure that persons with disabilities are not in any way disadvantaged vote for the election, they are going to be acquired, I'm sure. The Commission is not going to be unmindful of that.
So those will be some of the benefits of that provision.
Now let us come now. Please, I want us to really dissect this place. We will take our turns.
Okay.
Now, what are those things ordinary Nigerian citizens and electorate should know about the Electoral Act 2022? It's a very wonderful, fantastic document that has come to enhance this election, for good participation. So, what are those things that ordinary Nigerians, you are all lawyers here. Lawyers, you already have them in your hand, so you sleep and wake up with them. Literally, you know them in your head, you can put them. But for ordinary Nigerians, what are those things they will know? So that even from here, we too, from National Intelligence Agency, can go out and talk to them in a language they can understand. Talk broken, speak our language. Look, this. What are those things? Let's just take talks. Those are those things that we should know in this electoral agreement.
Okay.
Yes, that was what they call it.
Yes.
Those things.
Yeah. For me, if the Act took care of voters' apathy, what will be the outcome of my voting? But with the new changes in the electronic methods and technologies introduced, recognized by the Act, you are not sure that if indeed you registered, you will go there, the device will be used, your face will be captured, your fingerprints will be captured, your votes. The Act has said your votes will not count. The Act not only recognizes manual or hard copies anymore, it said electronic formats of all this, of the voters register. So there's not a question of, I registered, I cannot. There will be a format because the Act also provided for a database for INEC voters register. I'm correct. So now citizens are now should be calm now that whatever they have in mind, their PVC, they can come out. The electronics, even the Act went on to say, if those devices fail, INEC can postpone that election, reschedule it, and come back again.
Sir, we are coming back. We are still on this. What the citizens should know. In fact, that is the basic reason why we're here, to enlighten them, to sensitize them, and to reorientate them with regards to the Electoral Act 2022. But before I come back, let's just take some comments from the viewers, all over the world joining us. There is Informa is watching live with us. Thank you. Alice Eliadafa is watching live with us. Thank you. This is from Peter Ekabie. It gives legal backing to the electronic transmission of results. It is as INEC now has the power to determine the manners of transmission of results electronically, unlike before. Oh, thank you very much, Ikabe, for your comments here. This is from Rosemary Abe. INEC should provide more capturing machines for easy voters for easy voters registration to decongest the crowded environment where this exercise is taking place. INEC, the INEC man here is noting. He has taken note, and I think they are doing that also. If you listen to the news, you will know that they are also doing that. This is from Peter Ikadie. The electorates should know that only digitally accredited and biometric captured voters will vote. Thank you very much, Peter Ikadie. Bani today is watching live with us. Charles William Opara, thank you. You're watching live with us. As a mayor acquaintance, thank you. Boba Amadi is also watching live. While Canada Command, the citizens should note that nobody is above the law, as the full ruts and intents of law should be applied on the electoral offenders. So, electoral offenders, please, INEC note when you take your hard work staff, please, you properly educate them on this. Irene, thank you. You're watching your streaming live with us. It's good to know that you're there watching live with us. Cynthia Efayeba, thank you for your. This is why Canada Command again. The electorate should know that only digital. Okay, I think I've read this message twice. Samuel Ashebat, it's good to know that you're watching live. Videdogoko, you're also watching live with us. Thank you very much. Shua Opara, thank you. Doris Omako, thank you. Leka Majuru, Charles William Opara. Kudos to River State for being proactive in discussing this, topical issues on INEC New Electoral Act to clear doubts and the minds of the citizens vis-a-vis as it concerns selection of delegates and selection of candidates after primaries by parties. So thank you, Charles Williams. Thank you. Thank you. You're there. The King of Williams. Functionality of the electoral law is difficult due to bad governance and cannot be justified. Thank you for your view there. Thank you for your views there. Let the citizen know the qualifications. Let the citizens know the qualification for registration as voters offences relating register of voters, buying and selling of votes cards, buying and selling of other electoral, thank you. And I suppose you mean buying and selling of votes, vote buying. Thank you very much. Glory Righteous in India, thank you. Warrants Emmanuel, nice topic for the time and season. And which more will be done on this? And viewers will increase to avoid a catastrophic 2023. Oh, thank you very much. This is from Brandy Anthony. The Electoral Act 2022. What citizens should know, very important. The citizens should be well informed. This can take, form of sensitization. When we do this, they will not be deformed. Thank you very, very, very much. We come back. We are running up because time, time is far spent. We will still come to more comments. Now, like I said, what do citizens really need to know? He has mentioned some.
Let me just when I was coming there, something just struck me. I just realized that as of today we are testing the particulars of from EC 9 of the contestants, both presidential and national assembly. So what struck me was we just have nearly eight months and the candidates are known, unlike before. So the voters now have the opportunity to interrogate the candidates, make up their mind on who to vote. Abroad they say they are undecided voters. Today you have nearly 8 months to decide who to vote for. So it's no longer anybody's fault if you make the wrong choice. So that is a serious take home for me. So we can now say we have enough time to listen to the candidates, talk to us, and then we are able to make up our minds who to vote for.
Now, sir, let me say this. Now, the electronic transmission of results, that clause, would you say, that clause has increased the confidence of the electorate? Would you say so?
Yes, it has. That's to a great extent because the problem we have had in the past was not just voting. Nigerian citizens have always voted and were willing to vote. But you find out that the reduction in the number of people who voted was the outcome of their voting process. Because when people vote, they know whom they have voted for. Yeah. And when the outcome does not tell us to that direction, some other time somebody will think it's a premeditated process. But if we say, okay, that look, we are going to transmit it electronically, it reduces substantially human influence. What we are dealing with INEC as an institution, and the integrity of INEC as an institution is there in the public space. And given the badge INEC has received over the years, we have always given INEC a lot. I think it suffices now that the INEC should play a good ball to ensure that the information that will be transmitted is properly managed, it's properly processed, and given back to the public. But the time you have to do it manually between one location and another location, changes will be made. Before another location, changes will be made. And therefore, we may not say what left one point and what got to the other. But now we can only know what left at a particular point, and I know what they expect at the end product of it. Now, I wanted to make a contribution to the other thing you said about what citizens should know. Yes. What citizens should know to me is two. One, what they need to know to prepare and package themselves to be properly equipped for the election in terms of getting the PVCs, in terms of you should not hold two PVCs, in terms of you can't vote in two constituencies, in terms of you shouldn't go if you are not authorized to hold ballot materials. Before people can carry ballot materials from one place and go to another place and be thumbprinting. You don't have the capacity to hold and to carry INEC sensitive materials except that INEC staff authorized to disburse them for the purposes of the election. Do you understand? Yeah. Then what they should know is the issue of the consequences when you didn't do what you ought to do. The consequences in terms of the provisions made, the conduct that has been criminalized in the election. Yeah. That if you go to ballot, if you are found with two voting cards, if you are found with INEC sensitive materials when they are not authorized to do so, if you try to shout party logo or to use a party government vehicle or party vehicle to influence the process, if you try to intimidate or threaten a citizen, both as an INEC staff as a citizen, there will be consequences for your action.
And there is one very important thing, first, please. A lot of people are going out taking PVC, they rush and everything. But there is one very important thing. People will take PVC, that will be useless. How do I mean? You are in a place, your PVC, you didn't register there, on election day you are there, and you cannot move on election day. You understand? You cannot travel far distance, you can only go within that periphery of the area you are. And then you are taking a PVC. Be mindful to know that on Friday, you at least that week of the election, you mobilize to where that PVC can be sorted, can be verified, and you can vote. I think that's also important.
Yes.
Yes. Be in a place where your PVC, you registered your PVC. Well, winding down now. Let me put this. You are the INEC man here. Let me put this. Do you think the 2022 Electoral Act, if well operated by all key stakeholders, will midwife a transparent, free, fair, credible, and acceptable general election come 2023?
Yes, absolutely, I believe so. And I know the Commission is determined to deliver its promise to ensure that there will be a transparent election. There will be an election that Nigerians will be happy about and will commend the process.
Now, you see, in reading that question, there was a key statement. If well operated by all key stakeholders, I want you to, the other key stakeholders, I want you to talk briefly, you and him, to talk briefly on the other key holder. Aside INEC, INEC is the principal, key holder here when it comes to the election. The other key holders, if well synergized and the laws are well operated, you think we'll have free, fair, credible, transparent elections for 2022? So let's talk about the other key owners now.
Yes, the key stakeholders.
Key stakeholders.
Yeah, the critical stakeholders are the security agencies, principally the police, then the political parties themselves.
Okay.
That's why we should avoid suspicion. The political parties should try as much as possible to be disciplined. They create a lot of problems historically in elections. Look, let me tell you, it is easy to deal with INEC. It is easy to relate with INEC. It is easy to interpret INEC. INEC is an institution guided by law. Historically, you can go within the laws and know whether they have faulted or not. But when the policemen or security men aid and abet crime or compromise on election day, there is nothing an INEC official on the field can do or INEC as an institution can do. Because if a policeman is to make sure there is law and order, fish up troublemakers, which is the job of the police, not that of the INEC official. And you do not execute that function, and you create the circumstances that is difficult for orderliness at the pool. The INEC person can only take to the hills if the security situation becomes dangerous because it's under the protection of the police himself. But INEC cannot even secure their system. It is the police and the security agencies that will secure those. As far as I'm concerned, if we must have a peaceful election, the peaceful stakeholders that we must, because with the law we have dealt with INEC. Even them funds we have dealt with that, we are finished with them. We are looking at getting the security agencies and the political parties that often mobilize violence. These 2 points is where the people that we need their cooperation.
Yes, I align myself completely with those identified stakeholders. But I'll add to it, even the community leaders, they are very important and critical in this situation. When INEC is doing so goodwill, even when the security agencies are doing their good, carrying out their goodwill, this can be truncated by the act of community leaders. So they need to also play their role to make sure that this we all hope, because we have all agreed that this whole new act is an innovation that will make us see a free, fair, and credible election come 2023.
Your passing words to the US. What's your last word?
It is very simple. Our confidence in the electoral process now should be rekindled, built and strong. There are provisions in the Electoral Act now that have said these are the clear process which you can monitor, which you can see where there is any attempt of fraud. You can quickly pen it down and pencil it and quickly report.
So your parting was yes.
I believe in Nigeria. I believe in INEC. I believe that we can organize a free, fair, and credible elections. I believe we are great. I believe we are a powerful nation. We should look inwards and answer our questions and respond to our problems. It's not together.
Sir, let's get from your parting words to the US, sir.
Yes, I assure the voters and all Nigerians that the Commission will deliver its promise to give you a very credible election 2023. But you must do your own part by ensuring that you are peaceful, by ensuring that you don't run foul to the law, and then by ensuring that you cooperate with the Commission to do the best it can to ensure that everybody is happy at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Viewers, this is where we round it off for today. NOA River State Dialogue. You know, as usual, when issues like this are discussed, time flies. And the program is time bound. In just 1 hour, so this is a much we can take. I want to use this opportunity to wholeheartedly thank Pastor AROCHKWU Paul OGBONNA. Thank you, sir, for obliging us your time, your insightful thoughts there. We will never take them for granted. We appreciate. I want to thank Pastor NATHANIEL, AKPORS, Coordinator Transition Monitoring Group. Thank you, sir, for giving us your very good presence. And I also want to thank you, sir, Barrister UMEALOR, the head of Department Legal, INEC River State. We appreciate your coming so much. I know all of you. We are going to have a part 2 of this conversation. As you can see, we did not exhaust. I have plenty of questions that I could not go through here because of want of time. Viewers also appreciate you so much. You have done noble as usual. Your comments, your questions, your contributions had fleshed, to this entire conversation today. We thank you very, very much. For those of you that we did not read your message, we are not looking down on you. Please forgive us. It's just for want of time. Now I know next time we will take your comment. I want to use this, wonderful platform and opportunity to also thank our, executive producer of the NOA River State Dialogue. There is no other person than, the DG of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Gaba Abari, is the executive producer. And I also want to thank the producer of the NOA River State Dialogue is in person of Barrister Young Ayotamno, is the State Director, National Orientation Agency, River State. And this thank you will never be complete because we have the head of department, ITC department, he is a man behind the camera making everything you're seeing here happen. And that person is no other person than Mr. Aroleten Brown. We refer to him in the INEC circle popularly as the programmer. Thank you very much for making the things happen. Thank you for staying behind the camera and making us have a seamless view. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank his able assistant, Ifoma Ezimoye. She's a loyal and very wonderful assistant. Without her, you will not have a seamless and complete view here. Thank you very much. On this note, we are rounding up. Until we come your way next week, same day, same time. I am your host, Abie Senmo. Please stay safe. Your vote will count. Go and get your BBC. 60 days more has been, time has been given to you. Go get your BBC and then participate responsibly come 2023. I'm assuring you your vote will count. Until we come your way, bye. See you.